The question I get asked most often from people who are in a situation where they have some sort of joint custody arrangement with a narcissistic ex is, how do I protect my children from their destructive and abusive behavior? And this, in my opinion, is the most difficult thing for any loving parent to deal with, because the short answer is that you can't. And I know the thought of leaving your kids alone with them is killing you, because you want nothing more than to protect your children and keep them healthy and safe. But in reality, there are very few circumstances where you will be able to protect your children from their narcissistic parent. What you can do, though, is preserve your own sanity, your own well being, so you can give your children at least one safe, healthy, and stable parent, a safe person, a safe place. So in this video, I'm going to give you concrete strategies to create a strong protective shield so you can preserve your mental and emotional energy and detach from your narcissistic ex's abusive tactics. When I'm referring to a narcissist here, I'm not just talking about someone who can be selfish or difficult to deal with. I'm talking about pathological narcissism. This is someone who is entitled, lacks empathy, and is exploitative. Someone who is consistently lying, manipulating, and doing everything in their power to make your life a living hell, including using your children as pawns in their twisted game. Dealing with a narcissistic ex when there are children involved is a whole other ballgame. And the narcissist knows they have a whole other level of control over you. You are not dealing with a normal person here. This is not someone who fights fair or plays fair. I've seen people caught up in the court system for years as the narcissist fights to get control. And for you, the legal process is stressful, but for them, it's just another game, another audience, and they thrive on the attention and the opportunity to spread lies about you, to make themselves look good while making you look bad, of course. I'm Lise Leblanc, and I want to remind you that this information is for educational purposes only and not a substitute for mental health support or legal support. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel, share it with someone if you think it can help them. I post weekly videos, so click that notification bell. Okay, so I will admit that the title of today's video is a bit misleading, because the fact is, co-parenting with a narcissist is impossible. The very definition of co-parenting is a post-separation parenting arrangement in which both parents agree to jointly participate in their children's upbringing and activities. But when you're dealing with a narcissist, co-parenting is not an option, because the narcissist is not going to participate jointly and is not looking out for the best interests of the child. They are only looking out for their own best interests. Even with a legal custody arrangement or agreement or co-parenting plans, the narcissist will constantly break the rules, cross boundaries, and act in manipulative, explosive, and sometimes violent ways. They think they are above the law, and sadly, they often do get away with it. Depending on the type of narcissist you're dealing with and what extreme they are at on the narcissism spectrum will dictate how damaging they are to you and your kids. So, the best you can hope for is to create a parallel parenting plan or conditions that limit your interactions with them and allow you to move forward with your own parenting style, taking your own decisions and actions where it's not already dictated by the court. So the faster you realize that co-parenting is not an option, the faster you can move to parallel parenting, where you can detach mentally and emotionally and start focusing on what you can do in your home to provide the safest, healthiest environment for your children while they're with you. But as long as you're playing the narcissist game under their rules, you will remain under their control, and they will abuse you as long as they can, using whatever means possible, including your children. The thing is, Nothing will go down without a snag with a narcissist. Even the most minor of communications will escalate into personal attacks, blame, and creative tactics to infringe on your time and energy and basically ruin your day and your life. And if the narcissist gets a reaction from you, they have succeeded on their mission, which is why today I am giving you specific strategies to take your power back so you can be healthy and strong for your children, who unfortunately will continue to be exposed to the narcissist's damaging behavior for years to come, no matter how hard you try to protect them. And this is a very sad reality and one that is extremely difficult to accept. So I want you to remember three things. Number one, no matter what you do, you could give your narcissistic ex the moon and agree with everything they say, even assuming it would be reasonable, which it wouldn't be. But no matter what you do, you can't win. You cannot train them to stop being narcissistic. The only thing you can do is train yourself to stop reacting to their behavior. Easier said than done, yes, but with practice, you will get better at it. And I get that you may still be in the trial and error stage where you're trying to figure out ways to appease them, thinking that there must be a way to get them to look at the kids' best interests. There's not. Even if you rolled over and played dead, they would continue to come at you. So I hate to be so pessimistic. This is not me, but I have worked with so many clients in this situation, and I've come to believe that the only healthy way to deal with a narcissist is to pull back all of your energy. Get yourself into a protective bubble where you can keep yourself healthy, sane, safe, so that your children at least have one parent who is providing them with that safety, that stability, and that balance. And the second thing to remember is that you need to adjust your expectations. I can't even tell you how many clients come in and tell me, you won't believe what they did, and just fill in the blank with some outrageous thing. Yes, I can believe it. What I wouldn't believe is if you told me that they weren't doing what they do, because that's what they do. Expect it. Third thing is that you need to be prepared when you start using these strategies that the narcissist is going to go into distress. As you disengage with them, they will feel you pulling away. And like a tantruming 3-year-old, they will escalate their efforts to get you to give them what they want, which is your energy, your attention, your reaction. And they know your kids are the most important thing to you, so they will use them as pawns to get to you without any regard to the damage they are doing to the children. But the key here is that no matter what you do, they are going to use the kids in their twisted game. So the sooner you learn to protect yourself and keep yourself in a good mental and emotional state, the quicker you can create this safe space for your kids and pull them into the safety bubble as much as you possibly can. Before I go into these specific strategies, I want to say that there is no one-size-fits-all solution to protect yourself from a narcissist. And that is because there are different types and extremes of narcissism, and they can present very differently and use very different tactics based on all kinds of factors, including gender. And I won't go into all of that in today's video because I cover these things in other videos. What I will say is that no matter what type of narcissist you're dealing with, they will bash you, not only to your kids, but to everyone who will listen. They will manipulate you to get what they want. They will manipulate your kids. They will act entitled and use what you fear most against you. So do not show them what buttons to push. Don't react. Any reaction is fuel on the fire. So the reality is there are no simple fixes. If someone tells you, oh, just do this and do that, it'll solve all of your problems, this is a sign that they have no idea what you're dealing with. When you're dealing with a narcissist, you need a strategic plan on how to protect yourself, how to protect your children as much as possible, and how to handle the ongoing character assassinations, Smear campaigns, threats, all these things they will use to alienate you from your children, to ruin you personally and professionally, and possibly even to get you in trouble legally or cause you physical harm. If you are in a parallel parenting relationship with a narcissist, you're in it for the long haul and it's exhausting. So, here are some strategies to help you get through it. But remember, you know this person best, so you need to use your judgment on how to apply these strategies based on the type of narcissist you are dealing with, based on your children's age, based on the risks involved in your specific circumstances. So the first strategy, if at all possible, cut off all phone and face-to-face communication and interactions. Again, not always possible. If you have a young child spending the weekend at the narcissist's parents' place, you need to pick up the phone if they call because it may be an emergency. But do not answer when you don't need to, and never ever call back unless absolutely necessary. If they leave you a voice message, ask yourself, is there anything in this message that really requires a response? And if there is, respond by email or by text at a time that's convenient for you. Strategy number 2, when you do need to respond to a voicemail, text, or email, don't respond immediately unless you need to, if it's an emergency, something urgent. But before responding to anything, ask yourself, do I need to respond to this now? Or what parts of this truly require a response? Have a few standard responses ready, and no matter what buttons they push, all they get from you is a robotic response. I'll take that into consideration. I'll respond in the next few days. If you're receiving texts, emails, or phone messages, you can probably safely ignore at least 95% or more of what's in them. And as much as possible, just don't respond quickly, because when they send that message, they are in the mood to engage you. So don't give them what they want. Strategy number 3. When a response is required, always respond in as few words as possible. Once you've written a text or email, reread it and ask yourself if anything can be cut out. Then walk away for a while and reread it again before sending. And again, ask yourself if anything can be cut out. Remember, anything you say will be interpreted through their sick, twisted lens. The more you give them, the more they use it against you, against your children. So instead of writing your defenses, justifications, explanations to them, save your breath. If you need to document it, put it in a journal and keep that in a safe space. The response you send to the narcissist should be as brief, as concise, and as emotionless as possible. Strictly business. Strategy number 4, never ever show emotion to them. Not in person, not on the phone, not by text. Any emotion they elicit from you is a win for them. Do not give them that satisfaction ever. Strategy number 5, give your narcissist a clown or cartoon character name. Goofy, Cruella de Vil, Wile E. Coyote, the Evil Queen, and refer to them by this name in your mind, not in front of your kids, to depersonalize them. Imagine them speaking in the voice of this clown or cartoon character, and this will help you remove the emotion from your side of the equation. And when you do that, they will escalate their efforts for a while, so make sure you stick with it once you start, at all times. So just imagine them as this ridiculous cartoon character, and if that doesn't work for you, imagine them as a speck of dust or some other inanimate object. And this may sound silly, but it will allow you to create some emotional separation from them and to start seeing them in a different light. Which brings me to my next point, which is to see them as someone with an illness or a disability that they cannot control. Because research shows that people with NPD have gray and white matter abnormalities. They have brain dysfunction. It's structural, And these are in parts of the brain that are responsible for empathy, emotional regulation, and other executive functions. So expect them to continue behaving this way forever because they have a serious mental illness. So when you're dealing with them, I will often tell my clients, pretend you have 25 energy bubbles for the entire day. That's all you get. How many of your energy bubbles do you want to give your narcissistic ex? Now, ideally, it would be 0. But as you know, they've mastered the art of stealing your energy. So, strategy number 6, which is not always possible depending on the circumstances, but it's really around protecting your energy bubbles. So, what I want you to do is, as much as possible, create a designated time and space where you will deal with their crap. So, if it's not the time you've designated and they send you a message, if you don't absolutely need to deal with it now, don't even look at it. Again, use your good judgment, but do your best to take control over your time and energy and not allow them to swoop in whenever they feel like it to ruin your moment. Make sure that this designated time is not near bedtime, because the last thing you want is to allow them to rob you of a good night's sleep. And also make sure it's not at the beginning of the day where they get the opportunity to set the tone for your entire day. Now, obviously, it won't always be possible to deal with their correspondence at the designated time or in the designated space, but as much as possible, start training yourself to only allow them into your mental and emotional space on the time that you decided, on your terms. And in the designated space, put a picture of the clown or cartoon character with the name that you refer to them as. Depersonalize them before you even open their message. And in your designated space, have a grounding kit. If you don't know what this is, just click on the next video at the end of this one. But in a nutshell, a grounding kit is something that will deactivate your fight, flight, freeze response and calm your nervous system after something causes you to go into a heightened emotional state, in case they do manage to push your button somehow. So if you start thinking about something your narcissistic ex said or did when it's not the time you've designated, remind yourself that you'll deal with it later and make a quick note if you need to. If you are not in your designated space, ask yourself, why am I allowing them into my bed, my shower, my car, my living room, or wherever, and kick them out. Strategy number 8, stop talking about them as much as possible. Find 1 or 2 solid people who really get NPD, and yes, get support from them in regards to your narcissistic ex and how to deal with all these challenges. Other than that, don't talk about them. Save your breath. Just know that you need to preserve your energy by not even thinking or talking about them, because it just isn't worth it. That said, if your kids talk to you about the narcissistic parent, try to not be reactive. Make your child feel safe talking to you. Ask open-ended questions on how you can best support them. Let them know that they can always trust you and talk to you. If needed, defend yourself and let your child know the truth without resorting to the same types of tactics that the narcissist is using. Strategy number 9, join a support group, even if it's an online one, because for so many people, it helps just to know that you're not alone, that you are not the problem. And also, on the note of support, be prepared to let some people go. Your narcissistic ex may have already convinced some people that you are the liar, the cheat, the abuser, or whatever, and you'll need to just let these people go. You can't try to manage people's perception of you. It's just not worth it. And you know what? If they get close enough to the narcissist, they may eventually discover the truth as the narcissist turns on them. Strategy number 10, access professional supports if at all possible. Now, I know not everyone can afford to see a therapist regularly, but there may be free supports and resources in your area. And if you can find someone who truly understands NPD, it will be priceless in so many ways, because the therapist can assist in your healing from the relationship, can teach you strategies to protect yourself and your children, and provide you with advice on the best way to support them in coping with the narcissist's ongoing behavior. If you enjoyed this video, please share it so it can help others. And if you want to learn more about NPD, please check out my playlist on narcissistic personality disorder.